Hello, I'm Martin Hazy, Chief Executive Officer of Business SA, Chamber of Commerce and Industry, South Australia. And I'm with Andrew McKenna, our Director of Policy and Advocacy. We're here to share with you today the Business SA William Buck Survey of Business Expectations for the March quarter 2021. We're reporting the best business conditions that we have seen since the global financial crisis right back in 2008. So Andrew, in many ways, this is quite unprecedented. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's right, Martin. What we've actually seen in the March quarter of 2021 was business conditions up over 16 points to an index of nearly 117 index points, Martin. The last time we were at this level was in December 2007, which was ahead of the GFC. So what we're seeing really is business conditions are the best in over a decade, and it's really fantastic news for South Australian businesses.
Andrew, the business surveying that Business SA does over the years, of course, through the SOAB survey, is that we look at two things. We look at business conditions and we look at business confidence. And I guess the best way for us to share that with you is that business conditions are a look over the last 3 months and business confidence is a sentiment over the next 3 months to follow. So what does this survey tell us about business confidence?
Well, business confidence has increased too. It's up about 6 points, up to 114 index points. So business confidence is quite strong. But given we measured business confidence at the end looking forward, we have seen a slight dip. And I think that's probably related to the fact that we've come off JobKeeper, JobSeek has been reduced, and we're also starting to see a bit of an ease in that COVID retail boom.
Is this what we expected? So the last time that Business SA concluded a survey of business expectations in partnership with William Buck was, of course, in December, and we looked at the December quarter late last year. Are these results symptomatic of what we expected to come out?
Well, Martin, this is actually better than what businesses expected, which isn't often the case, but we're up about 6 points higher than what businesses expected back at the end of the December quarter. So that's a really good result and testament to the resilience of the South Australian economy, and particularly in the light of the ongoing impacts of COVID-19.
One of the biggest issues that came out of the recent surveying is skilled labour, or for some industries, the lack of skilled labour and the challenges that they're facing. Andrew, for our listeners and our viewers, could you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, what we found here was that 56% of businesses found it difficult to find skilled labour during the COVID period to date. And when we look at unskilled labour, that's about 40%. And that's across a wide range of businesses, particularly those that might have typically relied on international workers, backpackers, for example, picking fruit. But it's much broader than that. And what we really need to see, I guess, is the vaccine rolled out as fast as possible to get those borders reopened so we can start to rectify the issues in the labour market.
Andrew, what about supply chain? So Business SA, we work across 17 industry sectors right across South Australia. And we do get feedback, of course, from our members that some of them are having some real issues in terms of procurement, in terms of securing their supply chains to fill their orders so that they can go and do the jobs they need to do. Now, most notably, of course, we're seeing evidence of this in the construction sector. Does it go further than the construction sector, and how much are we seeing this within our membership?
Yeah, it's quite broad actually, Martin. It's about 45% of businesses reporting some sort of input shortage, and that's all sorts of items from IT components to lots of different building materials, chemicals. It's across the board. And we're also finding that in general, most of that is related to international supply chain issues, about 3/4 of it. So whilst there are some local demand issues, a lot of these issues are actually occurring as a result of what's going on in global markets. We're also seeing freight issues, a shortage of containers and increasing freight costs, a lot of issues with lead-in times too for orders, in a lot of cases blowing out to as much as twice typical pre-COVID levels.
Something we are very mindful of at Business SA is that, generally speaking, as everybody would know, for many small businesses, for many corporate businesses, even sole traders in South Australia, in the last 12 months, through pivoting, through being agile, that their businesses are reasonably robust. And in 2021, because of a fair bit of local consumer demand, because of course we're not spending our money overseas, is that there are many businesses that are doing okay in this environment. But I think we've got to be mindful, of course, there's a contingent of businesses which still remain materially impacted by the circumstances of last year, 2020. And those, of course, in international tourism, those who are looking after international students, but it probably runs a little bit deeper than that too. Andrew, how do we quantify, through the SOAB surveying and through other mechanisms here at Business SA, how many businesses are there in South Australia that are still doing it tough, and what needs to be done to support them?
Well, that's a good question, Martin. In approximate terms, what we found from the survey, there was about 8% of businesses whose revenue was down more than 50% on pre-COVID, and around 16% that they were down at least 30%, so 30% or more on pre-COVID. So that's quite a sizable portion of businesses. Yes, it's in the minority, but those businesses still need some ongoing financial support from both the state and federal government. So from a state government perspective, that might be payroll tax, that might be workers' compensation premiums, ESL, land tax. From the federal government's perspective, that might relate to more individual targeted assistance, for example, to the live performance sector.
We, of course, have got the state budget coming up here in South Australia, and Business SA has been advocating very strongly on behalf of our members, and especially that contingent of impacted businesses. So let's hope we do see some joy in the state budget this year from our Treasurer. So, Andrew, thank you very much. We do absolutely encourage you to read the full report, and thank you to all of our members who participated in the survey of business expectations in partnership with William Buck. Thanks so much.